So that's why I stopped playing in the orchestra. I needed a day off.
Right.
But what really pushed it was one day I asked Carrie-Anne if I could have the day off. It was a concert in, I think, February. And I wanted to play all the Bach sonatas, and we'd arrange a little tour. And he said, well, I would like you to play this concert because it's a Bartók concerto for orchestra. And I asked him if he would do it, the Bartók. I asked him if he would program it because I wanted to play the piece, you know, I liked it. And he said, and also will be the Schoenberg violin concerto, whoopee. So, but when it came to the time, he replaced the Schoenberg with the Mozart A major piano concerto because he said he didn't have time to learn the Schoenberg. So you can imagine me, I was really annoyed. So then rolled along the next Salzburg Festival, and I went to the cinema with a couple of guys, and we sat in the front row and drank a half bottle of rum. You know, it was a day off, and it was pouring down rain. And the movie was Ben-Hur, and there was Charlton Heston chained to the deck, pulling away with a guy beating on the drum, and we were killing ourselves laughing. And I said to the guys, "Hey, this is just like the Berlin Philharmonic, isn't it? Look, there's me, there's you." And then somebody came and whispered in the drummer's ear. I said, "There's the manager. Go quicker." So I really decided I'm going to do it. I'm going to leave.
Jim, I'm very anxious not to keep you here for too long. So you know, if I'm going on too long, it maybe another few minutes.
It's okay. The concert's at 8 o'clock. Don't worry.
Okay.
We did play it a day ago.
Right. Yes, you've already played it. I'm glad you have. That's excellent.
Of course, I had other lessons with Marcel Moyes, but they were different.
Were they mostly about the music rather than about the technical aspects of playing?
Well, we did talk about technical aspects as well. And the main thing about Moyes, when I met him, I was already in the London Symphony. And I was rather an accomplished flute player by then. So anything that I did with Moyes, we didn't use the music hardly. I would play a Bach sonata and he would talk about it and show me how to play it better. And it was a very interesting experience, I have to say.
Yes, I'm sure it was, actually. Well, I read something today about the fact that you were allowed to call him Marcel, I think.
Yeah.
One of the few people who were allowed to call him Marcel.
Well, he invited me to call him Marcel. I couldn't call him anything for about 3 weeks. The horse guard, they're the mounted ones, right?
Yes, yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes,
they came in and did this very elaborate thing on horseback, and they played the minuet from The Marriage of Figaro, which was beautiful. And then I'd already rehearsed with the band of the Irish Guards, the Coldstream Guards, all the big Guards bands, and plus the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. Have I left anybody out? No. I mean, there was bandsmen as far as the eye could see, and this was all in Chelsea Barracks.
Now, how long did you study with my father?
1 year.
1 year.
Then I went to Paris.
And was it William Bennett who suggested you should go and have a lesson with Geoffrey, or
no?
Did you think of it yourself?
No, I met him in Belfast when I was a kid.
I remember that, yes.
And he fixed up for me to go to the Guildhall without any examination. They just accepted me on his word.
Right.
But the big problem that I had was I was 15 at the time, And a 15-year-old let loose in London, you never know what might happen.
Especially if it was you.
Yeah, especially me. I mean,
Right.
you can say that again. Me at 15, I can't believe it.
No, I can't either.
My mum must have been having a heart attack.
Right.
And then came John Francis. So John said, look, if you send this boy to the Royal College of Music, we can look after him in our home. So he did. And for 3 years, I went to the Royal College of Music, and every day I thought, I've got to figure out a way to learn with Jeffrey Gilbert.
Oh, really?
And I did. I just left the college and went to the Guildhall. But nobody'd ever done that before.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And that was really where I met you as a student, although I probably had known you before that, maybe a little bit, but I actually met you at the Guildhall, because I was there and I was about the same age as you were, and I was playing the fiddle and you were obviously playing the flute. But that's nice. And then Daddy encouraged you to go to Paris, presumably, as he did most of the good players.
This was my agenda, because I was running out of money. And I needed to get a grant from somewhere else to continue studying.
Right, okay.
But I have to tell you about the first lessons I had with your dad.
Okay.
You may not know this. I prepared for my first lessons Prokofiev, Hindemith and the Bach G minor. So he played some of the music along with me, you see.
Right.
And he said, Galway, he always called me Galway.
I know, we did, yes.
He said, Galway, do you always play so loud? And me, quite innocent, I said, no, only when a piano player's loud like that.
Oh, which he would love, of course. I'm sure he laughed.
So then he gave me stuff to learn for the next lesson, and I took it away and learned it. And one of the pieces was this Di Lorenzo study, which the first one is 4 pages long. I thought he was trying to kill me, as well as all this bunch of scales. So I turned up for my second lesson. He said, okay, Galway, did you practice your scales? I said, yes. He said, I'd like to hear them. I said, which one? He said, all of them. This was a big...
Which one? Right?
Yeah, just a big thing for me, all of them. So I played all of them. And then he said, okay, now what about the study? So I started to play it sort of rather slow. It went something like this. And your dad said, wait a minute. And he took out his flute out of the box. And without warming up or anything, he said, went like a bat out of you-know-where. And he played the whole thing. And I thought, well, this really redefined the art of flute playing right there and then. This is where you start, as far as I was concerned. And that was the greatest lessons that I had.